The Walsh Promise. Okay. What what am I referring to? You know, and I wanna explain to everybody why this is so important. And this is one of the reasons I've been so excited to be able to talk to Joe today. And I mean it. I want every single Democrat running for president to embrace this. I would like to see every opposition group embrace this. I'll explain why.
Yeah.
And I would like to see every member of Congress in the Democratic Party, every senator and every candidate embrace this. Tell us about this.
Uh, Steve, I've been a Democrat for only 5.5 months. And I've been a little pissed that my new party just isn't meeting the moment. When he fucking tore the East Wing down and he began building his ballroom, I just said, that's it. I mean, every day he does and says 1,000 corrupt, stupid, cruel, dishonest, lawless things. But this was like concrete. Steve, I'm like you. It felt like a January 6th moment to me when I saw this fucker destroy a third of the White House. And so from the day I saw that, and when I figured out what this ballroom is going to look like, how it will desecrate those grounds, our house, I made a pledge that every fucking day I'm going to say the following. Any Democrat running for president in 2028 must pledge to tear down the ballroom, Trump's ballroom, and rebuild the East Wing. Any candidate for president Democrat must make that pledge. And they got to fucking follow up on it. And so I've been putting this out there every single day because I made a pledge, Steve. I'm going to say this every day because I mean it. And if in a year or two, these Democrats who start announcing for president don't talk about this ballroom in the East Wing, well, then fuck it. I'm going to run for president and I'm going to pledge to do it. And I'm going to invite the American people to come join me after I get elected. We'll all tear the ballroom down. Steve, I think it's that important. He did not have the authority to do it. And in a very concrete example, we see his lawlessness. And I don't think we can move beyond it.
100%. Now, I want to explain a political proposition, not so much even for the people who are with us, but for people who will watch it later when we throw it up, which is, and I'm not talking to the ordinary people who have joined us on this Substack today. I'm talking to the elites of the Democratic Party, to the leadership of the Democratic Party, to their consultants, to the philosophy that says we have to test everything, that conviction comes second. Very important thing, big difference between the parties. Republican philosophy is message drives poll numbers. Democratic philosophy at an operational level is the data in the poll numbers should drive our message, which is why in the immediate aftermath of the destruction of the East Wing, there's hesitation. When it's obvious, the reaction will be the outrage that the polling later caught up to.
Yeah.
Now, some people will say that there's so much going on in the world that this can't be the priority and shouldn't be the first one. And I'm going to explain why that's wrong. All of us who stand in opposition to all of this must come together in order to make it stop. And that coalition, by its broad nature, is a coalition with a lot of disagreement in it. And the purpose of a Democratic victory in 26 cannot be to make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House as its outcome. It has to be to reassert the co-equality of the Article 1 branch of government, reestablish the checks and balances, and make the outrageous lawlessness cease.
Yep.
So what is it that I am for? And I want to be clear because I think it is what you are for. And I want to be an advocate to all of you to be for this as well, which is this. What we must be for is unrelenting confrontation
Mhm.
against the wrong from the right, not a political geography, but as in right and wrong.
Yep.
We stand on the right side of the law, on the right side of a great moral question, and on the right side of decency, the right side of patriotism, and on the right side of the republic. If there is a heaven, and looking down on us are John Adams and Abraham Lincoln, they're rooting for our side.
Yep.
The very first thing that we have to do is agree to something together.
Mhm.
And that, because later we have to do very complicated things together, should be an easy thing. And even if you are not animated by a particular passion to knock down whatever Trump builds, what I want to say to people that may not feel the same passion on this as Joe and I feel, that this is an elemental issue for us.
Bingo.
And and we ask for your accommodation as your partners in making this stop. You need us. You need the people who believe like us that knocking this down is a first order desecration. And before we do anything else, because this aligns with everything that must be done,
Yeah.
we must together knock down something and make that a symbol of the first thing that we can do together so we can talk about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing after that. And I will tell you what the three next things are. Before the 21 gun salute ends, an executive order is signed that seals Kash Patel's office and relieves him of duty. Fired. In the first instant
Yeah.
of presidential authority.
Yep.
I believe that this has to be, and this is the Republican way. I would like this to be my job on the transition team. I'd like to be the guy that goes to the White House and sits across from Susie Wiles and Trump and says, here's the deal. If you want to keep the Qatari plane, nobody, not named Trump, gets a pardon on your way out the door. Nobody. And somebody asked me when I laid this idea out, well, what about Jared Kushner? And I said, if that little bitch wants to change his name to Trump,
Yep.
then he gets a pardon. But if he wants to say it Kushner, no pardon. Then Trump will take that deal and sell out all of those people, which is something I care about very deeply. And then later in the day, after transition has occurred, fuck Trump on that deal and take the plane anyway. And promise number 3 is going to dump that plane in the Atlantic Ocean off of Mar-a-Lago. And under the Antiquities Act, tribute to a great Republican president, Teddy Roosevelt, will declare the entire area Marine Reserve protected space and will fund a minority diving program with a federal platform for the kids of West Palm Beach to be able to come over in front of Mar-a-Lago, which will be his virtual prison. But I'm serious about this, right? That the moment requires
Yeah.
the use of power to stop terrible abuses of power and asserting in plain, clear language that the use of political power to stop abuses of law is both urgent and necessary and deeply connected to the maintenance of peaceful protests in an orderly society, that these things must be done.
Steve, that's fucking awesome, brilliant